Our headlines: more Chinese ships spotted in the West Philippine Sea according to Philippine Navy official.
Trade and investment main topic in Singapore and Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishna's visit to the country.
Transportation Office starts redistribution of plastic driver's license.
40 degrees Celsius maximum daytime temperature observed on April 15 in the country according to Pag-asa.
And Israeli Defense Forces ready to back attack Iran as a call to stop conflict in the Middle East. Good evening, bringing the latest news for tonight. I am Alvin Pelobello.
And I am Krizza Lopez. This is your TV News Thread. For the stories, the Philippine Navy has spotted over 55 Chinese vessels contained in the West Philippine Sea. This number has increased from around 45 Chinese ships spotted on April 10. Henry Nicolas has the details.
Based on the monitoring of the Philippine Navy, more Chinese ships spotted in the West Philippine Sea. According to PN spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore Roy Vincent Trinidad, 55 Chinese vessels of various types were sighted in 5 features of the West Philippine Sea. In a press briefing in Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City, Trinidad said 2 China Coast Guard craft and 24 Chinese maritime militia vessels were spotted in the Bajo de Masinloc, also known as Scarborough Shoal. 1 CCG ship and 5 Chinese fishing vessels were detected near Ayungin Shoal, 1 CCG and 19 CMMVs near Pag-asa Island, 2 CMMV near Panata Island, and 1 Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy ship of Lawak Island. Trinidad said the figure was large as of Monday afternoon, higher than the 45 Chinese ships sighted in the West Philippine Sea on April 10. Trinidad said that the activities have been varied. Some of them would be laying to or stationary, others would be moving, doing patrols. He added that the fishing activities of Filipino fisher folks in this area remained unhampered despite China's presence. This is Henry Nicolas for EuroTV News.
Following the state visit of Singaporean Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan in the Philippines, they've both agreed to strengthen ties in the field of trade and investment. The Singaporean counterpart also expressed their support for the Philippines in the South China Sea. More details in my report.
The Philippines will continue to cooperate with the government of Singapore for the implementation of the signed bilateral agreements and the Memorandum of Understanding, particularly the agreements signed during the visit of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in Singapore way back in 2022. The Philippines reaffirmed this during the visit of Singaporean Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan in the Philippines. The deepening of defense, security, and maritime cooperation between the Philippines and Singapore were also discussed, as well as the growth of the trade investment, energy, connectivity, technology, among others. The two countries also agreed to resolve the issue of territorial dispute in the South China Sea under the UNCLOS, or the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Singapore is also said to be ready to comply with the 2002 ASEAN-China Code of Conduct on the South China Sea. Balakrishnan also had a courtesy call with President Marcos, where they discussed their views on regional development and possible collaboration, particularly in green energy and carbon credits. PBBM is also scheduled to have a high-level visit to Singapore for the 21st Shangri-La Dialogue this year. The Philippines and Singapore are celebrating the 55th year of diplomatic relations. This is the first time that such Singaporean official has visited the Philippines since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Alvin Pelobello for EuroTV News.
As the delivery of plastic cards for driver's licenses continues, Land Transportation Office also started distribution of available cards from last year's backlog. Mia Layagin for the news.
The Land Transportation Office or LTO assured that they are in the way to complete and provide for the backlog of plastic driver's license cards, starting its delivery on Tuesday, March 16. In a press release, LTO Assistant Secretary Vigor Mendoza II has confirmed that they have received the additional 600,000 plastic cards that are being used to print driver's licenses. These newly delivered plastic cards are necessary to continue the agency's means to address licenses backlogs from last year and to fill demands in 2024. Aside from the new plastic cards, the agency has also received 1 million pieces of these by the end of March, following the lifting of the writ of preliminary induction order on the delivery of the remaining cards from banner plastic procured last year. New issuance and renewal for expired driver's license has been scheduled, while distribution of available plastic cards started today. Following the delivery of the cards, LTO has encouraged drivers to claim and renew their plastic license cards from April 16 to 30, as there will be a penalty if they fail to do so. This is Mia Layagin for EuroTV News.
The Civil Service Commission has found violations in the 200,000 pesos reward of former Ilocos Governor Chavit Singson to Metropolitan Manila Development Authority. The CSC said it should have been accepted by the agency as it violates the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees. Vanessa Cleophas has more details.
After the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA accepted the 200,000 pesos given by former Governor of Ilocos Sur Chavit Singson upon his personal visit to their office, the Civil Service Commission or CSC stated that it should not have been accepted as it violates the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees. According to Attorney Aileen Lizada, Commissioner of the Civil Service Commission, it is stated in the law that government officials and employees should not accept any gift, favor, or anything of value. She emphasized that their service and duty are already compensated, so they should not accept any reward from anyone even if the intention behind it is good. Lizada also pointed out that this action might be emulated by other motorists who violate the agency's rule.
While maganda siguro yung intention niya, baka hindi ho lang alam ni ng official po na meron ho tayong batas na ganito. Because try to imagine, Ma'am Nina, kung marami hong magva-violate, ay magbibigay ho sila ng pera kasi nagpapasalamat dahil hinuli sila at anong gagawin ay i-deposit sa GF. So try to imagine, there will now be another source of money coming in na dapat hong hindi. Kasi po, sila po ay bayad na, yung mga enforcers, bayad na po sila ng taong bayan, bayad na po kami ang aming sweldo ng taong bayan, and you do not have to reward us for doing our work.
MMDA Chairperson Romando Artes initially stated that the amount they received from Singson would be considered as a donation to the agency, which would go to the general fund. However, according to Lizada, only the Department of Budget and Management or DBM has the authority to deposit funds into the general funds of government agencies for operational purposes. Meanwhile, Ilocos Sur Governor Chavit Singson previously stated that his contribution was not a bribe and he was aware that it is prohibited by the law. This is Vanessa Cleophas for EuroTV News.
Stay tuned for more stories as EuroTV News Thread returns.
Incident that happened in Catanduanes in which a nylon strike entangled the plane's wing, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines warns kite flyers near airports Catherine Landicho has the details of the news.
After an incident occurred in Catanduanes where a nylon string wrapped around the wing of an airplane, the Civil Aviation Authority has issued a warning to those who fly kites near airports because the forced return of the plane to the airport and an emergency landing caused the accident. Those in charge are thankful that the string did not enter the propeller of the plane. Meanwhile, the public was reminded that the under-towns ordinance, such as incidents, carry a fine of 2,500 pesos. The ordinance covers 43 barangays within a 5-kilometer radius of Virac Airport. In recent months, CAP personnel have confiscated several kites around the airport. Those who fly hot air balloons, aerial drones, or any flying contraptions that could pose a risk to aircraft operations are also advised not to be flown near the airport. This is Catherine Landicho for Euro TV News.
The authorities seized 2 tons of shabu worth 13.3 billion pesos at a checkpoint in Batangas. In relation to this, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. identified the operation as one of the largest drug busts in the country's history. Dan Villegas for the report.
The police confiscated approximately 2 tons of shabu valued at 13.3 billion pesos being transported in a van in Alitagtag, Batangas. Investigators further stated that the vehicle, which was headed from Santa Teresita to Parañaque City with the intention of going to Lipa City, abruptly stopped by the police, identified as Alahon Michael Zarate. Authorities alongside President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. described this operation as one of the largest drug busts in the country's history.
I would like also to point out that this is the biggest shipment of shabu na nahuli natin. But not one person died. Walang namatay, walang nagputukan, walang nasaktan.
They also mentioned that the seized drugs were allegedly imported into the country and did not originate from within the Philippines.
This is the approach that we are taking to the drug war. Ang ating ginagawa, we take apart, binabaklas natin yung mga sindikato, kahit sino man. Ang nakita natin may kasabwat dito sa drug trade. Kahit sino man, kahit politiko ba na powerful politician o police o kung sino man, talagang iniimbestigahan natin. Kaya nagkaroon ng ganitong klaseng operation that nakahuli tayo ng kalaki-laki na 1.8 tons.
Authorities have also conducted tests on the confiscated shabu and determined that it is of high quality.
Kapag test na ang PNP, tinest na yung nahuling shabu, very high quality itong nandito, very high potency.
According to the President, authorities have continued their investigation into this matter. This is Dan Villegas for Euro TV News.
Due to the intense heat temperature in the country, Education Department signaled green light over wearing of alternate uniform for school personnel. Despite reasonable intention behind the mandate, teachers group pointed out possible political implication on the colors of the designated uniforms. More details on Mia Layagin's report.
Both the teaching and non-teaching personnel are now allowed to wear alternative uniform designated by the Department of Education or DepEd to counter extreme heat temperature prevailing in the country. Based on the guidelines released by DepEd, school personnel are allowed to wear the alternate uniform designated as the collared DepEd polo shirt that were used from the previous events and activities of the agency. These include DepEd shirts worn during Brigada Eskwela, Palarong Pambansa, Oplan Balik Eskwela, regional, division, and school conferences, and such. Despite the good motive behind the mandate, ACT Teachers Party List raised concern over the colors of the shirts specified with DepEd guidelines. The party list representative Franz Castro mentioned how the colors green and red, aside from white, as specified in the guidelines, has a political meaning. Castro stated that teachers and education personnel should be given the option to wear the color that they want as long as they are comfortable instead of designating prescribed colors that may be associated with political implications. She said that prescribing colors and uniforms with political connotation should be avoided to prevent school personnel from being tied with the colors associated with politics and may even reflect to DepEd as an early electoral campaigning. It can be recalled that during the 2022 national elections, camp of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. as well as Vice President and DepEd Secretary Sara Duterte used red and green respectively as their representative colors during the elections. The agency is yet to release a statement regarding the concern raised by the teachers' party list. This is Mia Layagin for EuroTV News.
Meanwhile, earlier this month, Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA recorded the dangerous maximum daytime temperature in the country. According to the data, 40 degrees Celsius was observed in Tugigaraw yesterday. More from this report.
Yesterday, April 15, in Camiling Tarlac, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA recorded a maximum daytime temperature of 40 degrees Celsius, marking a notable spike for the first half of April. According to Ana Solis, head of PAGASA Climatology, this temperature surge occurred earlier than anticipated, typically expected in May. However, it is also not possible to feel the higher temperature.
So kasama din po yan, nakapagtala na po ng pinakamainit na temperatura, 40 degrees, na itala April 15 sa may parte po ng Camiling Tarlac, yung may station po tayo doon, at saka po sa may Isabela, sa Isabela State University. So ito po yung mga lugar na medyo matataas na po yung maximum daytime temperature. So yun po yung highest so far na temperature ever recorded this year, 40 degrees po dyan sa may part.
According to PAGASA Climatology, they continue to monitor the heat index or discomfort index. Solis clarified that there is a difference between the heat index and the maximum daytime temperature. According to the weather specialist, the heat index is measured by the human body while the maximum daytime temperature is measured by an instrument. With the monitoring of the Weather Bureau, they expect that the maximum daytime temperature may increase until next month. However, it is impossible for it to reach the highest recorded maximum temperature in the Philippines of 42.2 degrees Celsius, recorded in 1915, or to exceed 45 degrees Celsius.
Ang temperature ranges natin ng maximum daytime temperature for April ay 39.7 o 39.8. Pero as early as April, nakapagtala na tayo ng 40. So tinataya po natin na itong 40 mararamdaman by end of May. Pero as early as April naramdaman natin. So ibig sabihin po, possible pa po na higher than 40 degrees ang possible po in terms of maximum daytime.
Historically, during El Nino in the Philippines, the highest temperature reached 42.2 degrees Celsius. The Weather Bureau noted that it is usually felt when it is declared strong.
So, hindi naman siguro makakarating ng 45 degrees. Opo. So, historically kasi 42.2 at nangyari din po yan during strong El Nino. So, ibig sabihin po, possible na up to 42, may posibilidad, pero base nga po dun sa latest forecast ng PAGASA, up to 40. At may nakikita kami na mga models na up to 40.3. So, by end of May. So, yung mga ganun po. So, up to at least 42 kung ikukumpara natin dun sa historical record po. At usually, yan po ay sa Cagayan.
Today, the PAGASA reports that Metro Manila and 23 other areas in the country were placed under the danger level of the heat index. The Weather Bureau estimated a 46 degrees Celsius heat index in Tagupan City, Pangasinan. 43 degrees Celsius heat index was recorded in 5 areas of the country, mainly Apari, Cagayan, Aborlan, Palawan, Rojas City, Capiz, Iloilo City, and Zamboanga City in Zamboanga del Sur. Meanwhile, 17 areas recorded a 42 heat index, including Metro Manila. The Quezon City Health Department advises the public to follow the advice of experts, especially those that will help fight the extreme heat.
So, when it comes to the scorching heat, of course, we have to boost our immune system, panlaban po sa kahit na anong sakit. Eat right, sleep on time, of course, have at least 8 hours of sleep, hydrate. Gaya po ng sabi ni Consi, mas maganda rin na magdala po tayo ng reusable na bottles po instead of buying yung mga plastics kasi bawal po yan sa QC. And of course, aside from keeping hydrated, protect your skin, use sunscreens or sunblocks, umbrellas, hats, pwede rin po wear light clothings as much as possible. If you have nothing to do important outdoors po, you can stay at home na lang and have nice time with your family. Also, protect our pets. The same time, give them water to drink, a nice shade where they could rest, and laging mag-iingat lang po. So sa ngayon, yung mga may maintenance, you have to drink it, especially those with hypertension po. Dahil pwede po ma-aggravate yung situation sa sobrang init din po talaga.
This is Krizza Lopez for Euro TV News.
For stories around the globe, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani calls to end the conflict in the Middle East during his visit to Washington, D.C. following Iran's attack on Israel. As part of their efforts to prevent rising tensions in the region, Sudani's meeting happened with U.S. President Joe Biden in spite of the United States' heavier intervention with ally Israel. Sudani leads delegation to Washington during the meeting with Biden and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III. According to Biden, the U.S. will remain in ensuring security in Israel to end the war in Gaza. The U.S. also ready to call a ceasefire and to release the hostages. The U.S. has 2,500 troops based in Iraq and to maintain the Islamic State's occupation in Iraq and Syria. The Israeli Defense Forces are just waiting for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's directive on when and how to carry out their attacks against Iran, which is feared to increase the conflict in the Middle East. On Monday, Netanyahu summoned his war cabinet to discuss the response to Iran's missile and drone attack last week. The IDF has already confirmed that at any time they are ready to attack Iran as well. But there are no details yet on how to respond. According to the airbase in southern Israel, the cruise missile and drone attack caused a lot of damage in Israeli territory. Israel remains on high alert as the country's emergency plan for a temporary ban on gatherings and school activities is laid out.
More than 4 people injured due to an attack by a suspected terrorist during a service at the Assyrian Church in Sydney. Among those injured was Bishop Mar Marie Emmanuel of the Assyrian Christ, the Good Shepherd Church, causing the Australian police to declare the attack as religious extremism by a terrorist. A teenager suspect was arrested at the scene of the incident on Monday who allegedly hid himself in the church. Based on the authorities, there was a degree of premeditation while the attack on the church was happening, but the authorities later confirmed that the suspect was alone in the crime. According to the said congregation, the incident is considered as an isolated case while they are still waiting for the results of the investigation by the authorities regarding the motive of the suspect in the crime. And that's the latest news for tonight. You may visit yourtvph.com for more news and information. Once again, this is Krizza Lopez.
You can also catch our live broadcast on our social media accounts and via Pinoy Extreme channel. I'm Alvin Pelobello and this is your TV News Thread. Stay safe and have a good night, everyone.